Yep, you're good to go. Good
Okay,
luck,
great.
Kelly.
So when you open InDesign for the very first time, this is what you're going to see. Or if you've opened it a million times and you're just kind of starting a new document, it kind of starts you off with a few things to make it a little bit easier. If you know that you're wanting to make a letter document, they make it really quick and easy down here at the bottom. But you can also just say new file if you have specific dimensions you want to put in. Now, this looks like a lot and it seems really overwhelming, but just remember that you are totally in control of this screen. So if typically, you're doing a print piece, you want it to be in inches, we're going to say we want it to be 8.5 by 11. This right here can be how many pages you want. So if this needs to be a 12-page booklet, you can do 12 here and they will all be set up in this 8.5 by 11 that you've assigned to it. And this little checkbox here is one that I kind of want to introduce. It says facing pages. So when you do a facing pages document, that actually is when you get it to look like this. So you see over here to the side where it says page 1 is on its own, that's going to be your cover, then 2, 3, that's going to be in spread format. Say you just don't like how that works together, you prefer to work on single pages, you can actually change that once you're in the document just by going to File, and then you go to your document setup over here under File, and you can unclick that facing pages, and now it's showing up as single pages throughout the document. And just to show you how that goes again, you can click the facing pages again if you're like, oh, wait, I actually do prefer the spread view. That's easier for me to design. There you go. It's super simple, super easy. I know there's a lot of things to take in with InDesign, but knowing just a few things to help you start a good foundation will kind of help the rest go really smooth. But today I'm actually going to work off of a template. We have templates on our brand page. And these are actually the one I'm doing today is actually a new one that'll be coming off. So it would be under resources. So say, somebody's come in and asked you to create a brochure and you just don't even know where to start. We have a lot of really good resources that live within this brand.ua.edu, and you can scroll all the way down to where it says design templates. And from there, you can preview or download. These are the old ones. Oh, it's taking me to box. So these are the old ones. New ones will be coming, just an update. So today I'm going to work off one of our new ones that my fellow designer Evie has been working on. So to do that, we can exit out of this totally, and I can show you how to go in from the start. So where we did new file before, if you want to open an InDesign file that already exists, you can click open, and then I'm already in this folder where I have everything stored. So I'm just going to click on the InDesign file. And this here is going to be where I just simply click open, and the file itself is going to show up. Now, right now, it's in a view where you can see all of the borders and gutters and margins, everything's there. For me, that's a little overwhelming. And again, there's no right or wrong way to have your thing set up, but to get your workspace how you like it and the way that helps you work the best, I like to switch to view, and then I go into screen mode and preview. So all of those things are still there. They're still existing in the background, where if I ever need to go and check on my margins or check on anything again, I can simply switch back to normal and they come right back up. But to design in a little bit less of a cluttered space, I just simply go to view and preview. And then from there, I've just got like a more clean line view of the document itself. If you ever get to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, it's loading so slow, these images are taking forever, it's dragging, there's also this really helpful I guess drop down next to it that's called display performance. And right now I have it set on high quality so that I'm making sure that everything in this document looks really good. This is going to be the quality that it prints, the quality that it goes out. If it goes a little too slow doing that, you can do a typical display that's going to, as you can see here where the photos are a little bit blurrier, that does not take the quality away from the actual document itself. It's just making it a little bit easier to scroll through without much lag. And there's one that's even more so of, it's even quicker. It's just fast display, and the images just become X's. I don't particularly like to work in that view, but it is available to you. So that's just a quick sort of overview of getting ready to work, getting your space set up how you like it, where you feel like you're in a good flow. And now, once we're in a template, we can go in and everything's editable. Because this template comes in as packaged, is what we call it, and I'll explain how to package a file at the end of this. All of the fonts that I'm using, even if I didn't have these fonts on my computer, they're tied into a font folder within the packaged file. So you're good there. All of your images are existing there, but that doesn't mean that you have to use those images. So you can simply say, okay, this is the cover. I like the layout of this. I just need a different photo. You can click right here where it says links, or you can go to Window, Links. And from here, it'll give you all the information and all of the actual photos that are being used within. The one that's highlighted is the one that you're working on. And to replace it, you can simply click Relink. And from there, you can go and insert whatever photo you desire. So I'm just going to switch maybe to this Minerva statue folder or image. And now it looks, it's not really fitting how I want it to, but we know that this is the frame that we want. You can see the blue box outlining. We don't want to adjust that. So to just adjust the image within, you can double click on the photo itself, and now we've got a brown box surrounding it. We still have our blue box, and that's not moving. But when we want to adjust this, we can just resize within. Make sure you're dragging the brown, and now you can shift within. Not like that. Let's see. So yeah, you can actually shift within, and you can see here that the box itself isn't moving, just the images. And that's one way to do it. There's also a way if you were to right click. Now that we have this photo, you can right click and click on fitting. And if this image has, there's a lot of really good like AI behind it where you can do a content aware fill, where now Adobe is saying, hey, we think for this box, this image fits best like this. And from there you can adjust. So it makes it really quick and easy to kind of resize images in that space. And allows for, you can still edit beyond that, but it kind of gives you a good jumping off point. Now, if you want to replace the text, I've got a Word document where I just found some stuff on our website. So this is by no means official document copy. It's just what we have on our site. Say I want to come in and copy and paste into what we have here. So we have the lorem ipsum text. I'm just simply copying and pasting, and it's here. You're like, oh, well, that's not really the font size I want. You've got it all here under properties. You can adjust your font size. You can adjust the spacing. You can also adjust your kerning here. Everything is pretty editable, but this gives you a really good jumping off point. If you're like staring at blank pages, really makes it hard to be creative. This allows you to have a little more of like a foundation, a little starting off point. And these can be, we set them up as templates to help you, and you don't have to think too much about the design. But if there's some things you want to adjust, you completely got that control. Over here, just to show you again how I was replacing, you can also go in and say, object. I'm so used to doing my shortcuts. So you can right click here, and I'll show you that fitting again, where this is an image that's already in there, but say you want to see a different thing. You can fill your frame proportionally, and it's going to zoom out for you. You can also go in and maybe fill like where you want to center the content. That'll adjust, well, I didn't do too much, but those, all of that will kind of help you sort of frame this out the best you can. One of the other things we have up here, so you can see I can click on where it says contents, I can click all of this, but we want something to stay consistent through every page. And with that, it's this number bar. To access something that you want to put on every single page, there are these parent items at the top. And so for this, we have this under a parent. So if I adjust what the page numbers are, I can just go in here and say, type, I want to insert a special character where at whatever page it's on, it's going to make sure to put the page number. And so for that, you just do type, insert special page, markers, and current page number. And now it's going to give you this A. And over here, we're going to do the same thing so that as you add it to your document, that page number is correct on what page it is. If you do, so say there's a version where you want to change some of the master page items, you're actually able to overlay and override what these items are. Let me get my special character again. So great, we've got our parent page set. You can see here under the panels, it says A, and that's how you know that everything that's on this A parent page is going to be there. But if you can see on this first page, there's none. That means, so if I was to drag this A parent to our official page or our cover, it's going to add that on there. Well, we don't want that on the cover. So you can very easily just drag down where it says none back onto that page, and it'll apply nothing. You can also right click and hit apply parent to pages, and this can be another place where you go in and add those parents. And a parent page just acts as like a master slide if you're used to working like in PowerPoint or anything like that. Just pretend like that's your master slide. So here's an example of where we say we want to overlay the white text. So this one has white and this one has our red. So if I was to go in and say, so, you can see here if I'm dragging, I can't touch this. This is locked in. If I do, for instance, need to edit something on the master just on one page, I can right click here and I can say override all parent page items. And that now becomes something editable on the page. So if there's a certain page where you want to update a color of the bar or the consistency or the transparency or something like that needs to be adjusted, or just it needs to be switched from white so it's a little bit more readable. That's all controllable within that master slide thing. So going from there, say we have our text and we're like, okay, I've got this text document to the side and I know I want this to be about admissions. Well, oh no, it's not all caps anymore. Right under character, there's a simple button where it just says all caps. You can hit that. You can make it where it's small caps. All of that's just really accessible under the properties panel. You can also, if for some reason you can't find that anymore, you can go to your type and tables and pull up a character one, and that's also going to bring it out in a side window. And so now if I was to go in and copy and paste everything that I have in my Word document to the side, you can see where I'm highlighting, and this highlighted more than one page. That's because these boxes are linked together, and so they're acting sort of as friends, where if something happens, then it'll overflow into the space that it needs. And there's a little bit more control that you can have to make sure that everything you have and the copy amount you have is fitting in the space that you want. You can know that these are that way because of the blue arrow boxes. And you can see here where this one moves on to the next one, this one moves on to the next one, but this one just stops. And that's because that's the end of the flow. We're no longer flowing anymore without that arrow at the bottom. So if I highlight all of this, I want to replace it with the text that I have it in my Word document. I'm just going to simply copy and paste from that one. But now I've lost my header style that I had before. Well, it's super simple. You can highlight the text you want and take your eyedropper tool. Now, there are two eyedropper tools, and I'll be using just the actual eyedropper tool. Color theme tool is only going to pull the color. So if I wanted to make this red but didn't want it to have the same formatting as say this, it's going to pull this here and give me a text box, and now I'm equipped with red. So if I was to highlight over this, that text now becomes red. But I'm wanting to actually copy the properties from an existing part of the document. So now I've got my just plain eyedropper tool. It's also Command I if you need to access it. And then you can go down to another part of the document where that subheader is there, right here, for instance, and I'm just going to click on it. Well, now you see it kind of has filled up the eyedropper. So now I've got that styling in where I can adjust it to what I've put on the page. So from here, I can go in and I can highlight my incoming freshman, and it's now made it a little bit larger. It's formatted it just like the other ones throughout the document. Another part here is that, say I want to go in and add some bullet points. Like this right here, this section I think really needs some bullet points. I can just simply highlight the section I want, and because it has paragraph breaks, it knows where to add my bullet points. And I can do type, and then I can do bullet and numbered list, apply bullets. I can also edit those within the paragraph panel down here. So say I want my bullets to adjust, I can go here where it says bullets and I can click options. I can go in and say this character style is not what I want. Let's do a new one. And I want these to maybe be crimson. What's going to pull up my crimson palette here? I can click, I want this to be that Pantone 201. Okay. Okay. And now my dots are the crimson color. Well, I like this formatting and I don't have to go and do that again. I can go back to my eyedropper tool, highlight that, just this one. And then I've got it where it's filled up again. I can go to another section and simply highlight and make those also consistent with the bullet points that I have. So the eyedropper tool is really helpful to let you make things consistent without having to go in and manually adjust each and every time. So again, we can go in and update this headline. This also lets you know too that like you don't have to go in and put every single section point by point. If you're more comfortable doing that, you absolutely can. There's no right or wrong way to do so. But those are just some really quick and simple ways to adjust what you've got going on. Now here's another. So you can see here there's a little bit of transparency within this box that's an overlay. We've got our fill color here under appearance, and then opacity, we've got it dropped down to 90. That's what's giving that little bit of peek through. But let's say we wanted to make this crimson, and then we want it to be at 50%. Well, that's kind of turning pink, and I don't really want that. So to get a similar effect, I can click on where it says opacity and do this drop-down box here where I can do a multiply. So we're still getting that richness, but it's overlaying in a different light. You can also do screen, that makes it really pink. There's just a lot of tools to go through. So you're not limited to just the opacity, it's also the blending style. From there, you're able to kind of adjust as you need to. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and explain about how to package up a file. So we've done this. We're really happy. Everything looks good. Text is great. It's time to send to the printer. Well, I want to make sure that this is packaged. And by packaging, InDesign works almost like a bag, where instead of embedding everything in here, it becomes part of the exterior of a bag. This is everything that's inside of it that builds up the bag, that makes it what it is. But those things aren't part of the physical piece. They are links. They go out to different folders. They're linked here. And if those links for any reason aren't there, then it can't be opened in an InDesign file later on. They're just missing. You've got missing pieces. So to make sure that that doesn't happen and we're ready to go, you can click File, Package, and from there, you're going to click package down here. It wants me to save it, so we're going to save. And this is where I say finished document. And it's going to create a folder for me that has everything I need in it. So we're going to say package, okay. There's overset text, that's okay in this instance. Typically, you want to check on that and make sure you're not missing any of your words. But just for the sake of showing how to, we are just going to create a package. Slowly. But this is a great way to make sure that if you're ever to pass this off, or say you need to work on a similar project, you're creating an annual report and you want to access your annual report because all you're doing is really changing the data. This has everything you need to open the files later on and know if somebody else needs to open it, that they have every asset that they need. So it keeps it all bundled up for you. It makes sure everything's accessible. A lot of times when it's a larger document, we send the package file to the printer. And so now if I go over here, you can see my finished document file, and I've got an InDesign file, an INDM or IDML file, which is like an InDesign file, but if this was created on a newer version of InDesign, you won't be able to open it in older versions. An IDML file will be compatible with all older versions. So you're not really losing anything if that's this instance. And now we've got our links. This is every single thing that showed up in that link folder is now here. And then document fonts, any font that was used that needs to be linked to it as well is also there. So yeah, that is pretty much, it's a lot, but that's a pretty basic understanding of what that can be. So I've got a few minutes if anybody has questions. There's also a ton of resources. If this was too overwhelming at once, I kind of just wanted to show the capabilities of what InDesign has to get set up and then how to use an existing template. But if there's any questions anybody has, I'm happy to try and answer.